Not hearing anything.
That's the key.
That's interesting. You can hear me?
Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
I can't hear anything, which is weird.
Nothing. Dead quiet.
Huh?
Dead quiet.
Yeah, nothing at all. This is me. Good afternoon and welcome to the Riverside Stadium in Queanbeyan for bottom four finals action in the NPL Capital Football. It's Woden-Weston FC versus Monaro Panthers. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator, and joining me on the gantry undercover because we've got a bit of grey skies and a little bit of rain around is Capital Football's Lachlan Roberts. Good afternoon, Lachlan.
How are you, Russ?
Very good, thanks. Good day yesterday. Somebody's turned the weather off. The sun was out and there's blue skies. We've come across the border, so to speak, not too far away, but it's grey skies and sprinkling of rain.
I was foolish enough not to check the weather before I got out of the house, and I'm in shorts up here, so I'm a little bit chilly, but we'll get through it.
Did think you were rather brave. hopefully it's going to get a bit warmer for you a little bit later on. Let's have a look back yesterday, though. A couple of games in the top four final series, and Tigers FC really threw that series on its head with a 2-1 win over Belconnen United to put them in a great position next week. Canberra, Croatia booked their place in the grand final with a steamrolling of Gungahlin United. What did you make of those two games?
Two big shocks, in a way. Tigers injury ravaged, a lot of injuries in their side, and Magic went down early. I thought when he injured his ankle, that might be the end of Tigers' chances in the final series, and then out of nowhere, a 2-1 victory over Belconnen, and Canberra, Croatia flexed their muscles, didn't they, in that 5-0 win, and really just dominated from start to finish against Gungahlin United.
Next week, Gungahlin United play Tigers at 1:30, and Canberra, Croatia already in the grand final, beat Belconnen at 3:45. That game at 1:30, massive for both those sides. Gungahlin United must win to put the pressure on Belconnen United in the second game. A win for Tigers there in the grand final.
Huge result. Who would have thought when Tigers lost to Belconnen United in that last round that Tigers would be 90 minutes away from a grand final spot?
Mentioned it in commentary with Frank Keisha yesterday. They did this last season. They lost four of the last five and basically couldn't buy a goal, and then managed to snack their way through to the GF. Run out of players, run out of steam, but at least they were there.
It's one of those teams you just can't write off, can you? Regardless of what momentum for them or against them, they just seem to find a way.
Let's switch our attentions to the bottom four final series, which we're going to see today. The teams come into this one. Monaro Panthers with 3 points from their win over Tuggeranong United. So a win for them today would put them into the bottom four playoff final. Woden-Weston got a good point against Canberra Olympic. They're still in with a shout as well. A win for them opens it right up as well.
Both teams would have been pretty happy with the results last weekend. A strong win for Panthers, and in that 3-0 win, as you said earlier, but also that 1-1 draw for Woden. Aside against Olympic, they had struggled to beat Olympic for quite some time, for 7-8 years, I think it was, and then they beat them 3-1 in the last round of the regular season, then following that up with a 1-1 draw. So huge game here this afternoon, and spot it in the playoff on the line.
Yeah, Udi De Silva's really turned his team's season around, hasn't he? They lost the first five, scored one goal in that time, and undefeated in the last three.
When they played last at Monaro Synthetic, it was a 3-0 loss, and they had a few chances to score then, Woden-Weston, but a great couple of saves from Evan Alexander Ridley kept them scoreless. It didn't look like they'd have a chance to score a goal this season, let alone win games. And here they are. They finished the regular season, second last, but not on the wooden spoon spot, which was impressive.
Did mention it was sprinkling with rain. It has stopped, thankfully, at the moment. Pitch is looking absolutely fantastic here, isn't it?
It's always good pitch, isn't it, at Riverside Football Stadium?
Well, the two teams making their way out onto the field. Let's start with the Woden-Weston lineup. One change from the side that drew with Canberra Olympic. Nikola Barisic back in midfield for Jackson Paisley, who drops to the bench. So they start up with William Lejeune in goal. Back four of Chris McEwen and Joe Boak out wide. Lachlan Fields, Adam Giafranceschi, central defensive partnership. Midfield three of Blaise Vlaslovsky and Roy Anderson flanking Nikola Barisic. Up front, Mate Barisic and Miguel De Silva alongside Jay Selden, who's been in impressive form.
Selden has been a bright spark in that attacking position all season, has provided a lot of chances, and he was impressive here last week against Olympic.
The bench for Woden-Weston: Martin Deng, Connor Bill, Jackson Paisley, Zidane Mutlu and Ben Yeo, the goalkeeper. Monaro Panthers, the away side, playing at home as they finish lower down the ladder. Unchanged for the third week in a row. Jimmy Canorides going for a little bit of consistency in his selection, and they have been unbeaten in their last three games. So Evan Alexander Ridley goes in goal. Sam Rosebuck and David Jenkins, Eli Howe and Osman Daramy now the settled back four. Ben Bassasilk and Nick Dowell either side. Nick of Aaron Cashman in the holding midfield role. Sam Smith and Adam Neo flanking Lukman Ahmed Shabu.
Keeping a clean sheet last week and having all three of your strikers score goals was a great result from Monaro Panthers. So not surprising that they have kept a settled side here this afternoon. Two
sides met at the Melrose Synthetic earlier in the season, round 4 on the 8th of August. Seems a long time ago now, that one. Monaro Panthers winning 3-0. Lukman Ahmed Shaibu with a brace. Robert Kachenko with a goal. He's playing in under 23's top 4 finals tournament, which is why we're not seeing him at the moment. Panthers would therefore, you'd think, have the slight psychological advantage over the two, but this is a different Woden-Weston team now.
As I said earlier, it just seemed halfway through the season that they weren't going to score a goal or get a win, and 3 or 4 weeks later, here they are with a couple of good wins under their belt and some good form.
A reminder, at 3:45 this afternoon, Frank Keisha will join me on the balcony here for Canberra Olympic versus Tuggeranong United. Both sides looking for a victory. NPL2 goes into his final series next week, or the week after I should say. There's a couple of catch-up games to be played. Some surprising results in that competition yesterday.
Yeah, the final series was delayed for the NPL2 because I think it was around 6 matches that were failed to play in the wet conditions, and also with the travel restrictions being put in place due to COVID-19 for Ugali and for Wagga. There's been a few curveballs thrown that way, but we'll have final series shortly. We
saw defeats for Ugali and Queanbeyan City yesterday, the top 2 in the NPL2 competition. Wagga City Wanderers taking advantage of that, and ANU giving themselves a shout of the top 4 as well with a 3-1 victory.
Ugali were undefeated before yesterday, so it was a shock loss to Western Molonglo.
Ned Jeans and his side taking the points as Monaro Panthers come out onto the field of play. Alex McConaughey, the man in the middle, Georgia Girardello and Callum Lightfoot, the assistants. We will be having a minute's silence before the game this afternoon. Tragically, Evan Alexander Ridley, the goalkeeper for Monaro Panthers, lost his father during the week. Very brave of him to back up and play after such news. So we'll see the coin toss, and then the players will gather for that minute's silence. Brave of him to play.
It's a tough decision, as we mentioned. Would you prefer to sit at home and dwell on it, or be out here for 90 minutes and hopefully forget and just be out here with his mates playing a game of football? Just a reminder that football's just a game, and there's a lot of things going on in life. I just wish Alexander Ridley and his family all the best in this tragic circumstances.
The football community is a very close-knit one, and our thoughts with him and his family on this sad occasion. We prepare for this clash between two sides who play some attractive football. Should be a nice open game. Expecting a few goals as well. Or we're hoping for a few goals.
Well, both sides did score last week, so that's a good sign. Hope they can continue that form here this afternoon.
I said the field has been in fantastic nick, and it looks absolutely superb from where we are up here. Best view in the house, right on the halfway line on the balcony at Monaro Panthers. So the minute silence will start on Alex McConaughey's whistle and will end on his whistle, and then we will have a third whistle which will kick off the match, and we'll be back with commentary when that happens. Me echo my thoughts of my co-commentator Lachlan Roberts. All our thoughts and my wishes with the Alexandra Ridley family for their loss this week. So Panthers in the black and green, attacking the goal to our left in the first half. Lukman Ahmed Shaibi, the American, gets us underway. Immediately on the front foot, Bassa Silk trying to force his way through. Difficult to pick a winner here. This is the most drawn fixture in NPL history. 6 of the 16 matches between these two have ended in stalemates, although there's never been a goalless draw, so that bodes well for us getting some goals. Here's Bassa Silk on the attack straight away. Look for Smith, but his pass was overhit.
Monaro did start strongly last week, didn't they, with an early goal, and they hit the crossbar and the post inside the first 10-15 minutes. They've started brightly here again this afternoon.
His Fields at the back. Joe Boak, the left back. Panthers last won 2 in a row last season in round 5 and round 6. They're looking for something that they haven't done for a long time. If they can follow up last week's 3-0 win over Tuggeranong with victory today. Here's Barisic recalled to the starting 11. Boak wins it, ball in midfield. Vlaslovsky looks to send it down the line. Cashman has it for the Panthers. Switch of play towards Smith. De Silva tracking back with Smith. Noticeably already that the size difference between these two sides is Woden-Weston possibly the biggest side in Canberra football.
Lots of tall timber. It makes them a threat going forward on the free kicks and the corners. I'm not sure they've actually scored from a set play this season, have they? I
don't remember them seeing
many headed goals this year.
You think they'd be more of a threat than they have?
Finish, just placing that ball into the bottom corner, out of reach of Alexander Ridley, and the Wanderers lead 1-0.
And his second NPL goal from Blaise Vlaslovsky, and Woden-Weston on the board inside 5 minutes.
As we were just saying, just more tick-attacker in that midfield and working the ball up the field rather than the long ball that they were accustomed to using earlier in the season. It's paid off here again.
Well, it's a goal that will be warmly greeted by Tuggeranong and Olympic as well, because a Woden win here would keep them very much in the hunt as well. Ball's played forward. Ahmed Shaibu's chasing. Can't get on the end of it. Placed to perfection, that finish from Blaise Vlaslovsky.
It was just a calm finish. It's tempting to blaze away from the edge of the box there, put your laces through it.
Pun intended.
There you go. No, wasn't intended.
Could have been.
I'll save the one for later. Hopefully scores again in this game, and I'll use it properly this time.
Sunday football at the Riverside. Bottom 4 final series in NPL Capital Football. And a goal already. Had an early goal at Deakin yesterday in the Canberra-Croatia-Gungahlin game. Panthers have been in good form defensively. They've only conceded once in their last 3 games before that strike, so a little bit of a surprise. Really was placed perfectly in the corner though, and despite Alexander Ridley stretching to his fullest, couldn't get down to it quick enough. Here is Vlaslovsky, giant of a man. Tries to flick it infield, but Dahl was there. Smith. Here's Nick Dahl advancing forward. Got Ahmed Shaibu to his right. That's the pass he's picked. Adam Neal on the far post. Ahmed Shaibu with for goal. Hits the crossbar. Bassa Silk on the rebound. Straight down the throat of Willem Lejeune. I'm not sure that was tried by Lukman Ahmed Shaibu, whether that was a bit of a slice. But the woodwork again after hitting it 3 times last week. It's cursed here.
Looked like it was intentional from my perspective.
I might be doing him a disservice.
Looks up, sees the keeper off the line, goes for the audacious chip, and unluckily he just hits the crossbar. If he was crossing into the box, there's only one man in there.
For the 4th time in 98 minutes, Monaro Panthers hit the woodwork at the Riverside. Maybe the goals are slightly smaller here than everywhere else. Accuracy's not quite right. Flick on has found De Silva. Running at the defence, trying to get the shot away, blocked by Howe, but there was a tug on the shirt and a free kick in a really promising position here for Woden-Weston.
That front three of the Wanderers is looking very fluid. Tiki-taka football does a beautiful layup for Seldon to Silva, and the little clip from Sam Rossback and gives away the free kick on the edge of the box here.
Mate Barisic is interested. He's got the technique as well. Alexander Ridley prowling on his line, trying to set up his wall. Panthers have 4 in the wall, 5 now. Ahmed Shaibu joins in. Nikola Barisic is over it with a left foot perhaps, but it looks like Mate Barisic is a pull rank. It is Barisic, it goes low, and the 5-man wall does its job. Not his greatest strike. Bassa Silk using his strength, illegally so. Nice open field to the first 10 minutes of this one.
As you mentioned pre-game, we're hoping for a few goals, and looks likely, doesn't it? That early goal set in a good stead this match.
Nikola Barisic's header. Vlaslovsky goes back to Barisic. Looks for Mate Barisic. Cushions it beautifully on the chest, but then Darry robs it off his toe. Woden-Weston Wanderers starting this one very sharply indeed. This might be the Panthers' den, as we say, but the win over Tuggeranong here was their first win at home in 8 attempts, and 9 if you include the game they lost here against Belconnen, which was officially an away game. Smith pulls it back, so Panthers' home record not great.
We think that crossing over the border into Queanbeyan would be a tough road trip, even though it is only 20 minutes. But it hasn't proved to be that way this season.
When you look at their defeats, they've not been much in it. They've been a bit unlucky in some of them as well. But
wonder how differently the season would have turned out if they had held on to that 1-1 draw against Canberra-Croatia in that first game of the season instead of that late strike they conceded.
It's Barisic looking to get away from Darren. He's done so here, and he's been penalised for a little pullback. There was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but decision goes against Mate Barisic.
Just turns out the bigger man Tracking down the little man.
Danger signs again, though, for the Panthers. Barisic not entirely impressed with the decision.
They're still in third or fourth gear here. They're still just working their way into the match. Loose pass here from Nick Dale. You wouldn't normally see that.
Yeah, Woden-Weston Wanderers been giving... They've started sharply themselves. Howe volleys it forward. Nikola Barisic in the middle of the park. The return of William Lejeune in goal as well certainly helped Woden-Weston Wanderers, and that's no disrespect to young Callum Cook, who was absolutely brilliant in the game we saw against Canberra Olympic earlier in the season. Ben Yeo on the bench today, another young goalkeeper looking for his first NPL start, or appearance I should say. Another free kick, this time Miguel de Silva is penalised. Remember that one back, I think you were there with me for that one, were you lucky? Or you were at that game anyway, and Cook made 10 or 11 awesome saves.
There's also that cracker game he had against Gungahlin United in that 5-0 loss early in the season, where it didn't feel like it was a 5-0 game.
First game of the season, wasn't it?
Just had a blinder.
Daramy with a throw. Finds Cashman in midfield. Smith looking to run. And McEwen couldn't get past him there. Chris McEwen can bring this away. Miguel de Silva. Cashman intelligently uses the space behind, but De Franceschi came across. He's defended well this year, Adam De Franceschi. Cashman. Boak intercepts. Now Selden, can he find a Woden-Weston shirt and spring an attack forward? Jay Selden. Again, Cashman involved. Seems to have been everywhere in the opening 12 minutes. Smith to Dahl. Anderson's turn for Woden-Weston. Now Selden. Cashman had a little nibble, and there'll be a free kick. Easy decision for Alex McConaughey.
They're just overrunning them. The Wanderers are overrunning the Panthers in that midfield, aren't they? Just the quick 1-2s and driving at the defenders. Dangerous times for the Panthers.
It's a 1-1 draw here last year. Sam Rosebakken scored for Woden-Weston with an own goal. Josh Gillespie replying for the Panthers. Blaslovsky's touch was a bit loose. Fields nods it forwards. Howe with the header. Is Daramy. Adam Niu, not been involved as much as he would have liked early on, and he's given that away to Nikola Barisic. Jenkins is penalised with a challenge on Selden. He's a bit perplexed as to why.
It's a robust challenge, wasn't it? Didn't think there was much of a free kick in it, but McConaughey's better placed than I am.
Fields. Barisic. Now Boak. Barisic once more. Anderson. Wanderers beginning to string some passes together. McEwen. Anderson, just as I say that, they turn it over. But they've been giving it back very quickly, aren't they? The Panthers can't keep hold of it.
They've been dogged in defence, the Wanderers. As you said, as soon as they turn the ball over, they're back in numbers to win the ball back, and they just want to hold on to the ball as much as they can, dominate possession and create chances.
Here's Blaslovsky sweeping the ball wide to Martin Barisic. If he can keep it in, there would be trouble, but just ran away from him on this surface. Quarter hour gone, live on Bar TV Sports. 1-0 to the Wanderers. Blaise Blaslovsky's goal after 5 minutes, the difference. Trio of WNPL matches later on today as well. Canberra Croatia, the league champions, in action against Gungahlin United. That top four was secured yesterday, I believe, wasn't it? Canberra Olympic won 6-0 against Tuggeranong United. Golden Boot still up for grabs, though, I understand. Nicole Begg moved on to 9 yesterday, level with Brittany Palumbi. Should be keen to get one today.
This is a good warm-up for Canberra Croatia before they face Olympic. next weekend in the semi-finals.
Interesting to see what Nick Brosnich does with his side today, whether he rests a couple ahead of that test. Here's Veslovsky, lifts it forwards looking for Barisic. He's got a yard on Howe here, can swing it across that 6-yard box, but way too much heat on the ball and way too much height as well. You can watch all the WNPL action on Bar TV later on, and the final series as well, next Saturday and Sunday. Grand finals the following weekend. And we'll all be at Deakin Stadium for that. Selden finds Anderson. McEwen up from fullback. Heavy first touch. Bassasilk happy to send it downfield. Now Lachlan Fields misjudged that completely. Not once but twice. Ahmed Shaibu picks it up for the Panthers. Rosebakken on the overlap. Smith outside. Not much to aim for in the penalty area, Sam Smith, so settles for the corner. Don't know what happened with Lachlan Fields there. The brain snap.
He does well to track back and block the cross.
Gone early with Bassasilk's delivery. Boak nods it away from Howe. Daramy nips in ahead of Barisic. And Howe goes down under the challenge from Boak. He certainly let the referee know about it, didn't he? There was a bit of contact.
There's a nice little bit of skill though to let the ball run through, but I'm not too sure how much contact was in that, but not as much of the contact as he made it out to be.
We certainly let Alex McConaughey know that there had been a bit. Let's put it that way. Adam Neo over the free kick. 5 Panthers shirts in the penalty area. Can he pick one of them out? Deflection might help. In fact, McEwen got it half away. Bassasilk tries to return. Didn't get enough on it either. Nick Dahl curls one from the edge of the area. Not too far away, Nick Dahl. Doesn't score an awful amount of goals. Only 3 in his career. One of them in a grand final though. It turned out to be a winner. First real chance that the Panthers created though.
Besides the one that Ahmed Shaibu hit with the crossbar, the cross-slash shot. They're starting to warm into the game now, the Panthers.
Apparently that's a shot off target, isn't it? Doesn't count as a shot on target if it hits the bar, does it? Always find that a bit strange. Selden tries to flick it on. Jenkins back there. How are you going in your shorts there, Lockie? Regretting the choice of attire?
I'm feeling just fine, thanks for us. I'm more worried about the late kickoff game and the packing up we have to do after that. It does get cold here once the sun goes down around 5 o'clock, but I'll be right.
We'll be here till at least 5:45. Canberra Olympic versus Tuggeranong United at 3:45. Both sides making changes for that game. We'll bring you some team news on that as and when. A bit closer to that kickoff. Neo's touch. Cashman finds Ahmed Shaibu. Space for Daramy if he can find him. He can't. And Boak returns it with interest. Barisic. Boak. Vlaslovsky. Nikola Barisic. Neat and tidy in midfield. De Franceschi at the back. Woden-Weston at the moment sitting top of the bottom 4 pile with 4 points as we stand. Nikola Barisic tries to slide it through. I feel like we need one of those as we stand tables. Can you get that sorted?
Get a graphic working on the stream.
Graphic, yeah. Be useful next week.
Especially in the NPL1 games.
Depending on the results of these two. At the moment, well up in the air here too. Dahl. Cashman. Dahl wide to Smith. He's got Neo going front post. Delivery. And Lejeun's dropped it. Ahmed Shaibu was there, got a touch on it, but couldn't turn it into the empty net. Daramy. Ahmed Shaibu stayed down in the penalty area. Nick Dahl has it. We're seeing whether they kick it out. He's slow to his feet, out of shot here. American striker. And Smith, unfortunate ricochet off McEwen. But Lejeune's little fumble opened the door for momentarily.
Just dived on the loose ball right on Ahmed Shaibu's foot there. He seems to be okay now. Maybe slightly winded, I think.
He got a stud on it, didn't he? But not enough to force it over the goal line.
The Wanderers are back on the line covering, so...
Midway through the first half. Panthers coming more into the game as an attacking threat. Woden-Weston's biggest ever NPL victory was against the Panthers back in 2013 when they scraped home by 9-0.
It's a big leap from all the draws, as we mentioned pre-game, that these two sides have had. A 9-0 win now.
That was when Woden-Weston played under the name of Woden Valley before their name change in NPL. There is still a Woden Valley football club that goes around, isn't there?
There is.
In the lower grades. But their Premier League entity changed to the Wanderers. Howe goes short with Alexandra Ridley. And then gets that all wrong. He's found the security down by the car park. Boak with a throw. Vaslowski beaten to it by Howe. We go again. This time Daramy. Third time lucky for Joe Boak. Barisic. Howe there with him. Challenges down in the corner. Mate Barisic strong on the ball.
He's done very well to keep the ball in there. Quick throw.
Smack clear by Daramy. Forced to Anderson on the edge of the penalty area. Forced backwards by a combination of Dahl and Neo. Fields. Vaslowski, his flick on finds Barisic. Miscontrol by Daramy allows Wanderers to take possession. Here's Mate Barisic lifting it in towards De Silva. Two-fisted punch from Alexandra Ridley got the job done, and the Panthers can spring forward with Smith. To Neo. Smith wants it back, and he's got the pace to get away from McEwen here. Can he deliver something into the area towards Ahmed Shaibu? But William Lejeune was there for the Wanderers. Nice break though from the Panthers.
They do have that threat on the counter-attack, don't they, with the pace of Smith. Look at Ahmed Shaibu. Good opportunity there.
Coming into the game a bit more now, Monaro, after being on the back foot in the initial stages. And Neo prods it wide to Smith. Goes for the return again. They've got him down that flank. This time Di Franceschi's in the way at the expense of another corner. Building a little bit of momentum and shifting the gears of the match towards the home side.
They're finding a lot of joy down on that right wing with Sam Smith up against Chris McEwen.
Neo's delivery. Ahmed Shaibu was unmarked. It might fall for Dahl, who blazes it up and over. Real opportunity for Nick Dahl on the turn. Just couldn't get his head over the ball.
Huge chance there. Once again, the Wanderers failed to clear from a corner. And the ball just falls to Dahl, but he just can't get his shot on target.
Almost caught it too well, didn't he? Caught it real sweet on the turn, and one of those ones where if he'd half scuffed it, might have had a chance of finding its way past Lejeune.
It's one of those ones, just get it on target and you're probably going to score. Didn't give Lejeune a chance.
Here is Dahl. Smith again's got a lot of room, but that's asking way too much for Sam Smith. He'd be delighted to have got his first goal of the season last week. Thoroughly deserved as well after 8 matches in which he's worked really hard. Selden might be in here. Howe read the danger. Win by McEwen. Vaslowski back to Nikola Barisic. Flick was from De Silva. As we mentioned, as we stand, Woden-Weston on 4, Panthers 3. Olympic 1, Tuggeranong 1. Tuggeranong nil, I should say, yeah. Having lost 3-0 here last week. Selden swings it cross field. Bounce almost did for Daramy. Bassa Silk forced back to Osman Daramy. Playing his 44th match this afternoon. Nice touch, Ahmed Shaibu to Dahl.
Daramy's pretty much cemented his position in that, as a starting left back now, hasn't he? There was rotated around early on in the season, but he started the last couple of games and he's done really, really well.
Selden looks for Vlaslovsky. Tries to force the ball past Daramy. Jenkins was back tidying up, and that's a good ball out as well to Adam Neo. Now Shabu, Ahmed Shabu switches crossfield. A lovely ball that is to Sam Smith. Takes on McEwen. Neo tries to turn away, but ran into Barisic, who I don't think he saw. Great ball from Ahmed Shaibu.
Just so precise. Great weight on the ball to get over McEwen's head.
Dahl swings it into the penalty area. De Franceschi with the clearance. A good one too. Finds Marcel Barisic. Vlaslovsky in space inside, and that's where he's gone. And he tried to force it through to Selden, who had a clear run on goal if the shins of Eli Howe hadn't gone in the way. Real open feel to it. You get the sense the Panthers are starting to create chances. David Jenkins with that long ball forward. 95th NPL appearance for him today. He would have clocked up 100 in a normal season. But for injury, of course. There'll be a fair few, if these guys go around again next season, there'll be a fair few players that clock up 50 game milestones and 100 game milestones. Chris McEwen being one of them. This is his 45th today for the Wanderers.
Wasn't so long ago that Chris McEwen was playing State League with UC. Back in the day, I actually played a season with him. Back when we were first year students.
Now he's playing Premier League. And what happened to your football career, Lachlan?
There never was one, mate. I realised very early on that I better just stick to
writing about it. We all made that decision.
Administration side of it.
Here's Howe at the back, and he's found Cashman. Howe again. He's had a solid season. Eli Howe. Not his best ball forward, though. Adam Neo couldn't pick it up, and at both ends, just that last pass, not quite finding its way through. Will it happen this time for the Panthers with Ahmed Shaibu? Finds Adam Neo, he's got away, in on goal. Chance for Adam Neo, and he's hit the post and scored. Quality finish from Neo, inside of the post. They make their breakthrough, and it has been coming.
That's 2-2 for Adam Neo, who got off his goal-scoring duck last week with a smart finish. That's just a beautiful left-foot strike. Leaves Lejeune with no chance. In off the post.
Tidy finish. Ahmed Shaibu the provider, Adam Neo the finisher. And the Panthers back on terms.
When Ahmed Shaibu gets a chance to receive the ball and face the defenders and play the passes, Panthers are a really dangerous side, and it was a beautiful ball there to Neo, who calmly placed it home.
As Lachlan said, 2-2 for Adam Neo. Was in good form in pre-season before lockdown. Could buy a goal after that. Hit the bar here last week as well before scoring late on. You have to say that was building for 3 or 4 minutes for the Panthers.
They got off to a very sluggish start, didn't they? But they slowly worked their way into the game and started creating some opportunities and eventually took one.
And as the historical statistics suggest, we're all square. Don't feel like it's going to stay that way though, because every time either side attacks, it's, you know, foot here, isn't there, or shin there, and just that final ball. But there's plenty of space on this field.
It's been a very entertaining 30 minutes. Hopefully we get to see another hour of it.
Selden looking to turn. Jenkins, his shadow, helped out by Rosbarken. Here is Selden. Smith back with the challenge. Silk finds Cashman. Smith went long. Cashman went short, but he was caught in a free kick. Made Panthers tick in the first half an hour. Aaron Cashman, everything's gone through the midfielder.
He's winning balls as a holding midfielder, and his passing range is excellent. So, as you said, a lot has gone through him in the opening half an hour. Just got to bring his other midfielders into the game. Silk has been a little bit quiet in the last 10-15 minutes.
Daramy passes Barisic. He's a man on a mission at the moment.
There's a bit of feeling in this now. Barisic wasn't happy with the tackle from Daramy early on. He hasn't forgotten about it 2-3 minutes later.
He let that one simmer for a while, didn't he? Mate Barisic. Jenkins, model of consistency. David Jenkins. Smith, Dahl, Silk. Nice move this, and the shot comes in. Lejeune forced into action, and the Panthers starting to take control.
The Wanderers just have to get their composure back and just start holding to the ball a little bit more instead of flying into challenges and giving away silly free kicks.
Field steps into the challenge. Ahmed Shaibu wins it. Silk pokes it wide. Smith can take on McEwen here. McEwen stood strong. De Silva. Anderson, nice feet. Gets him out of a tight situation. Barisic lets it roll, but Boak, even with his rangy stride, is not going to be able to get there.
There's a slight miscommunication there.
Nice idea, though.
I think Boak might be the tallest right back I've ever seen.
I mentioned that in commentary last week. I think it was a game you weren't on him. That's exactly the same thing. Massive right back. Almost feel sorry with the people running up against him. It's 2 strides to 1, isn't it? Barisic, who's been busy in the middle of the park in the first half hour. Howe, a little nibble at the heels from Blaise Blazlowski. Howe with the free kick. Wants to go along with it. Ahmed Shaibu the target. Nicely done to Osman Daramy. Field's in there with the challenge, but Daramy's got away, but Field stretches the leg and is penalised. Looked like there was a fair bit of ball in that from where we were. Far be it for us to question the referee's decision though, Lachlan. Unheard of.
I'm saying tight-lipped on this one.
Mate Barisic pleading the case on behalf of his centre-back, and in the meantime Panthers have got on with it, and Neo, his eyes lit up as he tried one from about 30 metres.
As I said earlier, the Wanderers just got to get the composure back a little bit. It's gone a little bit frazzled in the last 5 to 10 minutes. Just got to go back to playing the football they were playing in the first 20 minutes or so.
Spoke to Yuli De Silva before kickoff, and he did say that the commitment for the players was there, and they're keen to be here, but you wonder how much the build-up is different for a game in the 5v8 than is in the 1v4.
I think it's undeniable, the fact that you'd get yourself up a little bit more if it was a finals match compared to this championship series we have now.
Selden, De Silva's switched wings, and he's got some space in which to manoeuvre here. Miguel De Silva, can he pick out a cross? Went to the near post, and Alexandra really can only palm it down. Apologises to Eli Howe. I think he wasn't expecting that, the goalkeeper.
I think I might have swerved a little bit in the air as well. Just played it safe and punched it away instead of trying to catch it.
De Silva wants to go short. Selden was the option. Still there. In the end, I think they're going to try and swing it into that tall timber. Only 3 shirts in there, though, for the Wanderers. One of them is Laszlowski, who does win the header straight at Alexandra Ridley.
He used every inch of his height, didn't he? To power over the Panthers' back line. Just couldn't get his header away from Alexandra Ridley.
Every inch of his 8'3" frame.
Did you measure him pre-kickoff, did you?
Well, we should find out actually how tall he is. What do you reckon from distance? 6'7", 6'6"?
I'm terrible with guessing height. Awful at it, so please don't bring me into
you'd
this
be
conversation.
About 6 foot, wouldn't you?
Exactly 6 foot.
Well, there
thank
you go.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
About 6'6". About the size of your average rugby union second row. Here is Vlaslovsky. If he watches this back later, feel free to send us a message and tell us how tall you actually are, please. If anyone knows, maybe his mum and dad are watching, they can flick us a message. Good chance that was, though, for a player of his stature to win that in the air. And probably unfortunate that it went straight at the goalkeeper rather than either side of him. Good response to the equaliser, though. This is better from the Panthers as well. Fields comes across, only can find Dahl with his clearance. Bassasilk's peeled off into some space here. He's brought it down under control. Smith out wide. Rosebakken ahead. Smith lifts it in and Lejeune plucks it off the head of Neo. A shaky moment earlier on, Willem Lejeune, but since then has looked pretty comfortable.
It's a very assured grab. That, as you said, well plucked.
Eight minutes to half time. Reminder 3:45 this afternoon. Tuggeranong United Canberra Olympic from this venue. Frank Keisha will be here on the balcony. Great credit to yesterday to the ground staff at Deakin. 4 games through it on the following last week and 4 games through it this week. And again here at the Riverside, 4 games through this last week and already 2 this morning. And yeah, the field's looking in great nick.
Especially after all the rain that we've had. I think during the season, Riverside was close to training during the week, and they just kept it for match days, and it's just looking absolutely spectacular. The pitch has held it really, really well. You could barely tell there's been so many games been played on it.
Vlaslovsky in midfield. Nice turn. He's managed to wriggle his way through here, and he's found McEwen on the overlap into the penalty area, but seen off by the strength of Jenkins. The old cliche of good feet for a big man there from Blaise Vlaslovsky. Had no right to get away from that cluster of players. Howe clips it forward. Flick on from Ahmed Shaibu. Di Franceschi is there, but Ahmed Shaibu has got a foot in. Now the race is on. Neo and McEwen. Good solid challenge, and decision goes the way of the Wanderers.
It's a great challenge, isn't it? Spectacular.
We'll have a solid challenge or two. Chris McEwen very robust in that one. Credit to Adam Neo, got up and got on with it. Come one of these sides find a way through before the break to go into the half in front. Here's Ahmed Shaibu. Bassa Silk looks to slide it down the back of Smith, who's coming, and there's a superb sliding challenge from Joe Boke as Smith was pulling the trigger.
That's better for having a tall right back. Slid in there and used all of his frame to clear that.
Vlaslovsky nods it clear. The corner was taken really quickly by Ahmed Shaibu, by Smith rather, and it's gone back towards Sam Smith. Boke clears. That's come off Daramy. Plenty of time though for Eli Howe. Howe and Jenkins, the centre-back pairing, has been one of the standouts of the season across the whole division.
Especially that game against Gungahlin United that we were here for back in the regular season. They were spectacular. Just rock solid.
Kept a clean sheet in that one. That was only the second time in 13 matches, or in 18 games, that Monaro hadn't scored a goal as well. So they generally find the net, and they've done so again today. Can they find the net again before the break? Neo swings it in. It's come off the head of De Franceschi, and another corner for the Panthers. Good delivery from Adam Neo.
Just puts the ball into a dangerous area and asks his teammates to go on and win the ball. But well cleared by the Wanderers.
Ben Bassasilk with the responsibility from this near side. Swung in towards that far post, won by Howe. Couldn't direct it back across goal though. Even match. Chances at both ends. Quite entertaining fare on a Sunday afternoon.
It's always been two halves in this one half. The first 20 minutes dominated by the Wanderers, and the last 20 minutes or so the Panthers have really put their foot on this game.
Daramy tries to get away from Vlaslovsky. Wins it back, and there's another thumping challenge between Daramy and De Silva. No quarter asked by either player on that occasion. Ahmed Shaibu tries to get away, pulls it back towards Neo. And McEwen got a really important clearance. Now the Wanderers turn to spring forward. Anderson, lovely bit of skill. Now looks for De Silva, and he's found him in space. Great pass from Anderson. De Silva, chance to deliver this into the penalty area, and a bit too close to Alexander Ridley. From one end to the other though. A great bit of skill in midfield from Anderson.
Sublime. Brings the ball under his control, and great little switch out here, just asking De Silva to run onto it. Just a shame the cross wasn't of a higher standard.
Resparken. Cashman robs Anderson and finds Bassasilk. Dahl. Here's Bassasilk. Everyone back behind the ball now for the Wanderers as Jenkins goes long. Ahmed Shaibu with a flick on. Boak only as far as Ahmed Shaibu. Fizzes one goalwards, and it wasn't far away. And I think Willem Lejeune has made a save there. Credit to the goalkeeper. It was a great strike from Ahmed Shaibu. Good stop from the Wanderers number one.
So the keeper is almost pointing to the corner. He wants to put his name on that save, doesn't he? It's a cracking shot, but even better save.
Panthers beginning to up the ante. 90 seconds to the break. Neo swings it into the area. Jenkins was challenging. Howe picks up the pieces. Immediate return into the middle. Smith's header unmarked as well, and will feel perhaps he should have done better.
It's a great cross from a centre-back, isn't it? Just turns and puts the ball into a dangerous area, and Smith will be disappointed with that header.
Found himself a couple of yards of space inside a crowded penalty area. Couldn't head it on target, Sam Smith. Into the final minute of entertaining opening 45. De Silva. Watch that drop over the head of Daramy, who recovered nicely. Boak clips it forwards towards Vlaslovsky, and he's got away from Bassasilk here. Vlaslovsky with a curler, and it wasn't coming back enough for him on that left foot, but beautiful bit of skill to get in.
Just sold Howe a hot dog, didn't he? And just cut back inside and had a chance there to bend it into that back stick on his left foot, but wasn't to be.
Nice open 45 minutes. Chances for both teams. 2 goals on the board. Maybe the 5th to 8th place playoff final series, but once you cross that white line and you get into game mode, it all clicks into gear, doesn't it?
Just comes back to the competitive spirit that each individual player has. No one, you want to go out here and win every game of football that you do play.
Beautiful from Barisic to find Selden. He in turn finds Anderson. Vlaslovsky. Barisic. Resparken stops that move. Smith's flick. De Franceschi in the way. Into stoppage time at the end of the first half. Vlaslovsky's goal gave the Wanderers the lead. Adam Neo's finish brought the Panthers level. flick from Mate Barisic to Nikola Barisic. Only one player in the box, that's De Silva on the far post, and that cross won't reach him. What have you made of the opening half?
Very open, isn't it? Both sides want to come out here and score some goals and play a attractive brand of football, and that's what they've done. It really sets up the second half nicely, doesn't it? Both sides have opportunities to go out there and win it.
As Alex McConaughey blows time on the first 45 minutes, as Lachlan Roberts said, nothing to choose between the sides, but a good 45 minutes of football, openings at both ends. You think both coaches will be happy with what they've seen?
Absolutely, and hopefully a few more goals in the second half. As you mentioned, there's been draws a lot in this fixture, but hopefully we get a result here this afternoon.
Well, the draw keeps everybody on their toes in the bottom four competition. At the break, Laszlowski's goal gave the Wanderers the lead. Adam Neo levelled things up for the Panthers, and at half-time here is Woden-Weston 1, Monaro Panthers 1. Welcome back to the Riverside Stadium for the second half of this bottom four finals series match between Monaro Panthers and Woden-Weston. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Lachlan Roberts with me. Half-time refreshments provided by Justin, the cameraman, from the Domino's pizza van. Did you get stuck in there, Lachlan?
Had a slice or two, yeah. It's a bit of a late lunch.
It was nice of him to bring that along, keep us all fed and watered.
That should be the standard from now on, I think, with the bartender cameraman.
I reckon.
I think so. Ask that in the contract or something.
He's definitely setting the standard for everybody else. Football-wise, one apiece. Vlaslovsky with the goal for the Wanderers in the red and black. Adam Neo levelling it up for the Panthers. Looking around the lineups, Panthers look like they're as is, and so do the Wanderers, who get us underway. Second 45 minutes. At the moment, we're still nowhere closer to knowing who's going to be playing in the playoff final. Panthers coming into this game with 3 points, Wanderers with 1. What we're hoping for, though, is half as open, as entertaining as we saw in the first 45.
Looked like both teams had a chance to score every time they went forward. So it was a great little opening 45 minutes, and hope to see more of the same in the second half.
Cashman has it. Ahmed Shaibu to New. Tried to get the return, but Fields intercepted. And Barasic is fouled. Just run through those teams quickly for you then. Woden-Weston, Lejeune in goal. McEwen, Fields, Di Franceschi and Boak. Vlaslovsky, Barasic and Anderson. Martin, Barasic, Selden and De Silva, the front three. The Panthers, Alexandra Ridley in goal. Rosebuck and Jenkins, Howell, Daramy, their usual back four. Basasil, Cashman, Dahl, Smith, Ahmed Shaibu and Neo, who netted for the second time in consecutive weeks. Vlaslovsky, who opened the scoring. Good challenge by Daramy. Ahmed Shaibu. Dahl, nice to say that the rain seems to have gone away.
A few dark clouds above, but it hasn't decided to sprinkle yet.
Rosebuck. Telegraph that pass to Smith. And McEwen managed to intercept easily for the Wanderers. Martin Den, Connor Bill, Jackson Paisley and Zidane Mutlu on the bench for Yuli De Silva today. Sure, we'll see a few of them later on. Monaro Panthers, James Driscoll, Mitch Jervis-Hamilton, Ed McCarthy and Dimi Paraskos. Paraskos unable to play last week because of the ruling around the eligibility for final series. Slightly ambiguous, I think, the way that was worded, and everything was sorted out in a week, and he gets to take his place on the bench today. Be happy just to get some football under his belt, wouldn't he, this time of the season?
And no Seb Woods for Monaro Panthers. Do you know what the situation is?
I think he played in the 23s yesterday at Deakin Stadium. They won 5-1, I think. Dahl lifted into the penalty area towards Neo. Good header clear by Fields. Canberra Olympic were beaten in the under-23s yesterday as well. Let's open top four final series there.
Of 2 losses in their first 2 matches, isn't it? I think they lost to Canberra. Did they beat
I think
Canberra?
They beat Croatia.
Croatia today? Okay. My mistake.
Beaten yesterday.
Is a very open.
I think the advantage of the top four series, the bottom four series, at least it looks like we're going to go into the final weeks with things up for grabs, places in finals up for grabs as well. Might not be the ideal scenario for everybody this season because of the COVID restricted campaign that we've had to play, but at least we're playing some football. Did mention to Grace Gill yesterday that there's other states that are not nearly as fortunate as we are in being able to see some NPL football this season, and even junior level football as well. And I've mentioned before, and I mentioned again, credit to Capital Football and credit to the clubs involved for making it safe for everybody to do so. Jenkins run forwards. Vlaslovsky finds Martin Barasic. Tried to return the ball to Vlaslovsky, but hadn't made the forward run. Panthers won the last 2 meetings between these clubs, and they're unbeaten in the last 5 matches since losing in 2017. Although Woden did win an FFA Cup qualifying quarter-final 4-2. Back in 2017, that was. Panthers win earlier in the season. Set them up for the double over Woden if they can get a result today, but only twice in the history of NPL since it began in 2013 have either side actually done that. Panthers won both in 2016, while Woden Valley won 2 of the 3 games played in 2013 when we had a 3-round series. So winning both matches between these two has been quite rare. It is one of the more even matchups in the NPL competition, and we're seeing that replicated on the field today.
I think it's mentioned pre-game as well. So many draws between these two teams that it is match up very evenly. Chance here.
Bassasilk's delivery. Couldn't quite find Smith. Yeah, the 17th fixture between the two. 6 of them having ended in stalemates. And this one will square as well. 5 minutes into the second half, live on Bar TV Sports, the home of grassroots football in Australia. Niu looks for Ahmed Shaibu. Boak hammers it clear. Cashman under pressure. And that's a loose pass from Darry, and it's allowed Mate Barasic to bring it forward. Selden to his left. Runner down the middle is De Silva, and he's going to get in here, Miguel De Silva. And unfortunately had gone slightly too early, and the flag up for offside, but nice slick break.
It's a poor turnover from Monaro Panthers in that back line, and just inviting the pressure from the Wanderers. And as that final pass, it's not really working so far this afternoon. There's an opportunity there for almost 3-on-2.
Out of your shot, Canberra Olympic turning up. Their players and coaching staff, and players and coaching staff for Tuggeranong United also here as well for the 3:45 kickoff. Last of the 4 games in the men's competitions this weekend as Selden takes on Dahl, and now he takes on Roosbakken, and the free kick goes against Jay Selden. A tug of Roosbakken's shirt, although Dahl had a fair bit of his in the earlier exchange.
It's quite a physical battle, isn't it? In the midfield, lots of free kicks given. Quite handsy, both sides, in their challenges.
Certainly no 1.5 metre distancing out there, is there? So, outstanding. Brilliant skill to find McEwen. Oh, and he's got it all wrong there, Chris McEwen. From the sublime to the ridiculous in the space of 30 seconds. Brilliant from Selden.
He might have stubbed his toe on the grass there, I think, as he went across the ball in.
I think he kicked it into his standing foot, maybe. Or vice versa. His standing foot flicked it into his other foot. Either way, Chris McEwen's definitely put better crosses into the penalty area. Just before that, though, Jay Selden back to goal. Nowhere to go. Beautiful piece of skill.
He's shown that flair in the midfield in the second half of this season, providing a real spark for the Wanderers. Most of their attack opportunities does come through him. He might not be on the score sheet, but he has definitely played a part in the goals that the Wanderers have scored this season.
Yeah, perhaps surprisingly, he hasn't scored a goal in his 8 games in the Premier League this year. He's due one. Boak finds De Silva. Run out of ideas there, Joe Boak. The ball forward wasn't good enough. Ahmed Shaibu finds Niu. Boak back defending this time. And Lejeune happy to send it upfield towards Barasic. Beaten in the air by Howe. Ahmed Shaibu picks up loose pieces. Falls for Bassasilk. Sat up nicely for Ben Bassasilk. And tried his luck. And just wasn't in on that occasion.
Ahmed Shaibu was looking for the 1-2, but fell nicely to Bassasilk.
Just wondered when he flicked it over the defender whether he thought about something spectacular as it fell.
You can't blame him for trying his luck from that range, and the ball sits so nicely for him. It's just a shame he couldn't get it on target.
Good win, Vlaslovsky. Selden. There's a quick feed again. A couple of instances of it. Looking for an option. Spreads the ball wide beautifully as well to De Silva. Anderson. Boak's loping forward. Chance for him to load something into the area, but it's blocked by Daramy. It the expense of a Wanderers corner, and a chance for them to send the tall lads forward. Vlaslovsky, Barisic, Fields, all inside the penalty area. Joe Boak, another target.
Once again, that opportunity came from Selden, just riding the challenges of 2 or 3 players. And
Nick Dahl, I think, has got a little bit of claret on the arm, so he needs to get that tidied up, and they'll be hoping, I think, the Monaro, that they'll allow him to get this tidied up and done before the corner's been taken, because he's possibly the tallest player they have to defend this, and Alex McConaughey sent him off to get a band-aid put on the arm. Chipped into the penalty area, in towards Boak. He's going to fall for Vlaslovsky, is it? Ahmed Shaibu defending well. De Franceschi lifts it forward. Barisic has peeled away, but he's gone early, and the flag is up for offside. McConaughey's not seen it. He has now. Possibly the worst time to send your tallest player off, isn't it?
I was looking at those matchups in there. I think it was Lockie Fields up against Cashman. That is definitely a one-sided battle. And it almost paid into a goal there. They just managed to clear their lines.
Mahal's got his cutscene too. Wonder how long before we see some changes. We've had 10 minutes of the second half. No addition to the half-time score. Boak prods it back to Fields. De Franceschi. Clumped forward by Lejeune. Eli Howe with a good win in the middle of the park, only as far as Anderson though. Bit of juggling from Roy Anderson. Barisic. And that's come off of Howe. Some strains of shouts of handball from the Wanderers. Didn't look like it from where we were, did it?
Definitely came off his chest there, and Alex McConaughey thought the same thing.
Rosebarken to Bassa Silk. Smith slides it to Ahmed Shaibu. Back to Bassa Silk. Promising build-up here. Niu. Dahl. Good turn from Nick Dahl. Brilliant from Dahl. And in the end, De Franceschi gets a block in. Nice move that from the Panthers. Possibly the most concerted attacking threat they put together.
There's better movement from the front three as well. Ahmed Shaibu coming off his defender to receive the ball and laying it off, bringing his midfielders into play. That's where the Panthers are most dangerous.
Cashman, Jenkins, Bassa Silk, Cashman, Daramy stringing the ball together at the moment, the Panthers. Not the best one from Cashman though. Sent Rosebarken scampering back about 15 metres to collect. The momentum's been lost in this attack. Howe looking to reignite it. Smith's touch was good. Rosebarken, Bassa Silk, Rosebarken. Something building nicely here. Ahmed Shaibu took his eye off it. But he's found Bassa Silk. Pulls it back to Smith. And the deflection denies what would have been a super goal.
Well, it all started from Cashman's poor pass out here to the near side. But the Panthers make it work, and
great move.
It was just a blasting the shot into the head.
If it was Anderson, it struck. Not sure how well or how cleanly Smith actually hit that, whether it was on target or whether it sliced it across it somewhat. By the way, it was a really nice move from the Panthers. Free kick this time to Woden-Weston. Howe claims the ball was won. Alex McConaughey disagrees.
It's just a simple 1-2, wasn't it? As soon as De Silva passed it, he just moved into the space there, and it's almost happened in slow motion. You could see where the pass was going to go, but they still didn't get there to intercept. And they give away a free kick here in a dangerous position.
Long way out. Two options, I guess, for Nikola Barisic. He can either thrash this goal Ronaldo style, or will he drop it into a danger area just in front of Alexandra Ridley?
Surely looking for the header of Boak here on Howe. A couple of inches taller here.
Will Barisic go for goal? It's Nikola Barisic over it, clips it low. It's gone to Vlaslovsky, who's got the touch, and the Wanderers are back in front. The free kick. Barisic swung it in. Vlaslovsky's getting the congratulations. Whether he got a touch or not, Nikola Barisic is claiming it. Either way, Wanderers are in front.
I don't think the players knew themselves. They've always split into two different celebrations there. But a great little ball into the box there. It wasn't chipped into the back post. It was almost a scruffy pass into the near post, just asking for someone to just put a toe on it and poke a pass. Alexander Ridley. It's 2-1 to the Wanderers.
Blaise Vlaslovsky claiming his second of the afternoon, although Nikola Barisic might well say it was his. And that has come much against the run of play at the start of the second half, you'd have to say. Panthers probably looking the more likely.
Yeah, that goal did come out of nowhere, didn't it?
Was that half a goal each, if they both claim it? We'll see who Alex McConaughey says got the final touch. It's his decision at the end of the day. Could put it down as yours if you like, Lachlan.
We'll put a quiet word into him. See what we can do.
Vlaslovsky might be on a hat-trick. Talking to Frank Casey yesterday, there's only been 2 hat-tricks in NPL football this season. Stephen Dominici for a Canberra Olympic against Tuggeranong, and Emilio Kishta. Free kick. Kishta's hat-trick coming against the Tigers. The game we were on down in Nijong.
You're not going to see a better hat-trick than that one.
Go a long way to,
down at
wouldn't you?
Nijong Oval. Absolute cracking goals.
Daniel Barach must have been wondering how he didn't get a hat-trick yesterday. Scored twice, hit the woodwork 3 times. Everything but denied by a stunning save from Josh Laguda, who was led on the floor when he stopped a goal-bound effort from Barach. Don't think he'd be bothered too much at the end of the day, though. 5-0 win. Nikola Barisic finds McEwen. Rosebarken has it for the Panthers, who for the second time this afternoon are behind and looking for a response. Took them 24 minutes last time to get back on terms. The as it stands table has the Wanderers back on 4 points. Monaro on 3. Should it stay this way, it means that no matter what happens this afternoon, everything will still be up to play for next week.
That's the beauty of the round robin format in this championship series.
Smith sends Ahmed Shaibu on his way, and Lejeune came out to meet the striker. Sorry, Lucky.
Just saying that every game is important, right? Even down to the last weekend. We might not know who makes the grand final till 5:30, 5:45 next weekend.
And that's the way we like it to be.
We saw late in the regular season, it was a last-minute strike that decided who was in the top 4 as well.
And Ryan Keir consigning Tuggeranong to this bottom 4 championships. They're in action a little later this afternoon. Nick Dahl on the break finds Sam Smith. He's got New coming to the near post, and Fields defends him well again, and the ricochet goes the way of the Wanderers as well.
It's a disappointing result to a really good chance there for the Panthers. Just seem to dwell on the ball a little bit too long there, Sam, and just blasted into the defender.
Going to see a change here. Ed McCarthy, is that's come on? It's Eli Howe that's gone off. Just about a shot at the moment. We'll get back to that in a minute. Selden runs to McEwen, gets a free kick. It's James Driscoll who's come on for Eli Howe. The youngster who's impressed this season. Gets his 4th substitute appearance of the campaign. Slots into the centre-back position. That's his header forward. Vlaslovsky towering header from him too. Talked about Panthers inability to stop hitting the woodwork in the first half. Lukman Ahmed Shaibu hit the woodwork. Even the goal that Adam Neo scored went in off the post, didn't it? Just seemed to be drawn towards it.
And luckily for them last week, when they did hit the post 2 or 3 times, it didn't actually affect the result in the end. It was a comfortable 3-0 win, but missing those chances here today might come back to bite them.
Yeah, 5 times in 2 matches the ball struck the woodwork for the Panthers. Ahmed Shaibu. Bassa Silk tried to slip the little return pass into the path of the striker. Vlaslovsky. If he is credited with that second goal, he's scored more goals in 58 minutes of football than he has in the previous 21 matches, I should say. He'd definitely be claiming it, wouldn't he?
I think so.
Definitely wasn't going in without his touch. That's what he'll tell us later. Smith, Neo, De Franceschi strong in the challenge. McEwen clips it forwards. Jenkins equally solid at the other end.
Jenkins now has to command this back line. And they've got Driscoll instead of his normal partner of Howe.
We're talking about a potential NPL team of the season with Frank Aisha as well, and David Jenkins wouldn't be far away, even though his team finished bottom of the table in terms of individual performances from centre-backs this season. He's been right up there. His Dahl, it's opened up for him momentarily and he fires it goalwards, but it's always going wide.
I'd agree with that nomination. I'd also chuck in the midfield Nico Oida. He's had an absolute cracking season for Canberra Croatia. Just glides across that midfield. He's scored quite a few goals and just makes Canberra Croatia tick, and one of the reasons why they have remained undefeated so far this season.
If I was talking players of the year, and we had this conversation on the air with Frank yesterday, Nico Oida would be well up there with Absolutely. The chance for player of the season. 5 goals to his name and the driving force behind the Canberra Croatia juggernaut, which just looks unstoppable at the moment. Rosbakken. Selden. Vlaslovsky. It's Jervis Hamilton who's come on. Ball flick forwards, replaced Ben Bassa-Silk.
Bit of confusion because he's wearing number 12 instead of 21 as we got down on the team sheet.
It's just about a haircut.
They've got to let us know before they book an appointment at the hairdresser, don't they? Similar with Eli Howe. He rocked up to the game 2 weeks ago and he has short blonde locks. Didn't even recognise him.
Neo in space. Smith outside. Can he deliver something now? A little clip to the far post. This has got Lejeune worried. And keeper couldn't get a touch on it. Cashman was peeling in on the far post.
How did that go out for a goal kick? Can't believe he didn't touch anyone on the back stick there.
Well, for a moment I thought Smith's lob was going to just drop into the back of the net. Solomon Jenkins. Jervis Hamilton. Rather trod on the ball. Daramy snaps back and wins it though for the Panthers, and then his pass is loose as well. Cashman just catches Barisic.
He's won a couple of challenges in this second half. He's been pleading for a free kick, and finally Alex McConaughey gives him one. He'll be relieved. It's been a tough battle up there with Jenkins.
Halfway through the second half, Woden-Weston Wanderers lead Monaro Panthers by 2-1. Nice flick, Selden. Anderson forward from midfield, squeezes his way with a nice turn between Dahl and Rosebach, and Selden into the penalty area. Anderson. McEwen. Vlaslovsky looks to stretch. Daramy was there just in front of him, and Adam Neo can bring it away for the Panthers, stopped by a sliding challenge from Miguel da Silva.
That's what you want from your winger. Once the ball gets turned over, he just puts his head down and tracks back and and stops the counter-attack from taking place.
Zaslotsky's header. Anderson. Another neat and tidy game from Roy Anderson.
He's been another reason why they've had a bit of a revival in his second half of the season.
Jenkins sends it wide to Rosebarken. Smith. Can he deliver something to the near post? And it's somehow gone right across. I think it hit the underside of the bar. Did Lejeune push that onto the underside of the bar and out for a corner? Somehow that's defied the laws of gravity, I think. Or physics, I should say.
All the laws.
All the laws. How's it not gone in, is the question.
Unbelievable.
Corner swung in, and it's a chance again. It's come out to Smith once more. He's got past Barisic rather easily and fizzes it to the near post. Mate Barisic was back there helping out, and Selden can bring it away. Now, he's got pace, and he slides it forwards. And the flag stays down. Mate Barisic onside. Selden was Franceschi back doing the defending. I'm still
in shock how it didn't go in the back of the net.
Nonplussed from the angle. It must have got a touch off of either the keeper or the defender onto the underside of the bar. It seemed to strike. Did it hit the bar? Here's Barisic. A lot of space to the left with Selden. He's gone the other way. Miguel da Silva fires it across. It will find Selden eventually, but he was in loads of space if Barisic had switched it. Super skill. Selden into the penalty area from the angle, and he couldn't quite finish it. Would have been one of the most spectacular individual goals of the season from Jay Selden. Just wide.
His teammates made him earn it, didn't he? There's almost a tap-in if they had a pass left instead of going out right. But it likes having two defenders in front of him. Just nutmegs a couple of them and unlucky not to.
I wonder why he didn't blow out when Barisic didn't pass it to him. It didn't matter to him, did it? One player, no player. Doesn't matter. Praskos coming on for Cashman. Panthers' third change as they look to find their way back into this one. And as they go searching for an equaliser, they may get caught on the break. But if that hit the bar again from Smith, you have to wonder what they've done here. When they redid this grounds, maybe they ran over a black cat or two. Some sort of curse.
It's a few extra inches of paint.
Here goes Smith again. What can he pick out this time? Crosses it over, and Lejeune again was less than convincing.
Just great chances at both ends, isn't there? Can't believe Selden still hasn't scored this season.
It was a remarkable piece of skill, wasn't it? Right on the touchline to squeeze his way past a couple of players and then to try and curl it from that acute angle past Alexandra Ridley.
I don't think Jenkins will want to see a replay of that. I think there's a little bit of a dirty nutmeg in there on him.
Sometimes you have to hold your hand up. That was one of those occasions. Not often players do that to Jenkins. Jay Selden has that in his locker though. Another player who's been really impressive this season. Nick Dahl. Osman Daramy. His Paraskos, his first involvement is a positive one. Jervis Hamilton. Rosebarken. He's got that all wrong. He's tried to wrap his foot around it, Sam Rosebarken. 27 minutes gone. Wanderers leading 2-1. Just a reminder, at 3:45, Canberra Olympic Tuggeranong United, the offering from the Riverside. Myself and Frank Keisha. We'll be back next week at Deakin Stadium, 1:30. Gungahlin United versus Tigers, 3:45. Canberra Croatia versus Belconnen. And to wrap up the round robin series here at the Riverside next Sunday, Canberra Olympic versus Monaro Panthers at 1:30. Tuggeranong United versus Woden-Weston at 3:45. Feast of football. Still plenty to be played before the grand finals take centre stage on the 26th, 27th September. And then NPL2 final shortly after that. So still a few more weeks of football to come.
Can't believe the season's almost over. I feel like we just kicked off and we pretty much did. It's only 9.
Can we start again straight away?
At least pre-season. Not sure if the clubs want to break or not. We get straight
I'm
back
sure they
into
wouldn't. Let's just get back into it while we still can. English Premier League did it, didn't they? Had about 3 weeks off.
Liverpool was still celebrating. I think that's why the result happened this morning the way it did.
Swept wide to Rosebarken. Clips it into the penalty area again. Getting a lot of joy down this right flank, but the final pass not quite coming off.
They targeted the same side of the field in the first half up against Sam Smith against McEwen, and now Rossbacher seems to be bombing on. 2 outlets for them, but his crossing has let him down the last 2 times.
Martin Deng is coming on. Barisic is withdrawn. Good afternoon for Martin Barisic. And Martin Deng makes his 91st NPL appearance. One of the characters of this Woden-Weston squad. Has 20 NPL goals to his name as well, Martin Deng, so that's not a bad return. Daramy, Ahmed Shaibu. Free kick. Panthers, chance for them to load the penalty area with just over a quarter of an hour to play. A lot of fouls in this one, isn't there?
It's had a bit of feeling into it, especially in the second half.
Feels like plenty of fouls to plenty.
I'm not going to do what I did last week and guess how much possession is or how many fouls. We'll just ask our stats man himself to
You can figure it out.
to tell us how many fouls there's been.
Near with the free kick. Whips it in. Fields clears. Paraskos let it bounce. Good set before Nikola Barisic. Deng's sharply into the challenge though. Brings it away, and there's a chance here if he can swing the ball into the path of De Silva, who's trodden on it at an inopportune time, but he's managed to pick up the pieces. And here's Vlaslovsky striding through on a hat-trick and just overran the ball.
Just unfortunate for De Silva just tripping on the ball there. Yet again, Selden was in so much space. He just could have found that pass early. It's one-on-one with the keeper. It's that last choice of pass that has let Woden down a little bit in this second half.
Near running into the box, fires it across, and Lejeune gets there ahead of Mitch Jervis-Hamilton. Still searching for a first NPL goal, Mitch Jervis-Hamilton. This is his 31st appearance at this level. Has goals in his locker. Scored a fair few in the lower grades. Driscoll looked for Sam Smith. Nice idea from James Driscoll, didn't quite come off. Lejeune pumps it down behind Rosebarken for Deng to chase. Rosebarken facing his own goal, and he's done well to draw the foul from Martin Deng. Time ticking away for the Panthers. Because of their win last week, though, a loss today wouldn't be terminal for them. They'd play Canberra Olympic next week, knowing that a victory there would put them in the grand final. Even a draw might be enough, considering their +3 goal difference from last week. Still plenty of time for them, though, to pull something more tangible from this one. Driscoll's flick finds Jenkins. Rosebarken. De Franceschi's backheel clearance. Barisic helps it up to Selden. Jenkins following him all the way back, and there's that turn from Selden again, and that little bit of acceleration to get away, and he wanted the advantage, and Alex McConaughey perhaps blew the whistle just a fraction too early.
Just as he got away, there was 3 or 4 bites at him from the defenders, and he finally got away and broke into space, and it was just at that moment that the whistle was blown.
Who'd be a referee, eh?
Hindsight, it's a wonderful thing.
You're rarely wrong, are you, in hindsight? Driscoll. Rather aimless, that one. Boak was there. Barisic. Dadamy sticks a leg out and wins it. There's a bit of space here for Jervis Hamilton to exploit. Shifting through the gears to Ahmed Shaibu. No one outside him, but Jervis Hamilton has tried to make that his.
Look how quickly the Woden-Weston defenders surround Ahmed Shaibu as soon as he gets the ball. They know how good his passing range is and just got to stop him laying it off to his midfielders.
Good crossfield ball from Praskos to Smith, and a strike from Neo. The deflection from Fields for a moment looked like it was going goalwards. It might now from Smith, fires it across. Fields was there again. They still can't get it away. They might now with Martin Deng. Lachlan Fields in away twice. Deng's giving it away to Rosebarken. Jervis Hamilton gets it back, and Jervis Hamilton goes for goal, but drags his shot across the face. Some good defending there from Lachlan Fields.
Just putting his body on the line, isn't he? Throwing himself in the way of the ball, making sure it doesn't trouble the keeper. He's done well. He's also been a bit of a late inclusion to this second half of the season. Played a lot of their under-23s matches and showed why he was capable of playing in first grade, and he's done really well.
Had eight first grade appearances under his belt before the season started. And forced his way into the lineup. This is his fourth appearance of the season. Alexandra Ridley, late inclusion in the Panthers lineup. Used to play for the Wanderers back in the day. Here's Verslovsky. Selden. Looking to run at the defence. Jay Selden pulls it back. Chance for Roy Anderson on the edge of the box. Turns, gets his shot away. And drags it wide as well. Scored a couple from that position in recent weeks.
Once again, it's that threat of Selden. Just peels off out into a wide position and brings his midfielders into play. Decent chance there for Anderson, who has scored quite a few goals in the last couple of weeks. He's substituted here, though.
Yeah, he's not going to get another one today. Jackson Paisley comes on in his place. Like for like midfield swap. Get the last 10 minutes of the match, Paisley.
Paisley had a great 2019 season. I think he's battling an injury early on in the year. He's forced his way back into the side.
Comes on for his 30th appearance at NPL. Second change for Yuli De Silva. Still got one more up his sleeve with 10 minutes to play. Driscoll nods it forward. Have the Panthers got something left? A little bit of a head injury here.
It was a clash of heads as they went up for the throw-in.
Gives us time to remind you of everything else that's going on. WNPL trio of games this afternoon. Tuggeranong Canberra Olympic here in the bottom four final series. 4 games in the final series. Next week in the grand final series, 26th, 27th of September. All those games and more on Bar TV Sports. .40 minutes gone in the WNPL at Deakin Stadium, and Canberra Croatia 1, Gungahlin United 1. Rosebarken looking to get in behind here. He's tried to take on Deng and he comes snapping into the challenge, and it's a free kick. Deng seemed to get a bit of the ball, but he got more of Rosebarken. So a chance from Adam Neer to whip this in slightly better than a corner from where it is. And the Panthers committing a fair few bodies forward, as you would expect. Wanderers with everybody back bar Jay Selden. And even he's only about 25 metres from goal. Can Neo find the right delivery to get the Panthers back on terms?
If he gets it over this very, very tall wall.
Only 2 in it. Clips it into the far post. Boak with a headed clearance. Might drop for Paraskos. Nods it back into the danger zone. Ahmed Shaibu on the turn. Tries to find Dahl. The strike comes in from Jenkins. Didn't get enough on that. And William Lejeune wants to go early because he spied Jay Selden in lots of space. Driscoll back tracking. does exceptionally well, not just to get back there, but to retain possession for his team.
It's just great work rate, isn't it? Putting your head down and busting your gut to get back there and win the ball for your team.
Dahl and McEwen sliced that, and I think the slice has actually helped him out. Otherwise, that ball was probably finding its way in you.
Deliberate slice.
On DiFranceschi, he's trodden on the ball and he's got himself out of that one. Sam Smith was sniffing around. Adam DiFranceschi breathes a sigh of relief. Seven minutes plus stoppage time. Panthers upping the ante. Jenkins, Smith. Anywhere will do at the moment. Well, with Jay Selden, they know they've got a willing runner up front. If they can keep it in play, he'll chase anything. Dahl, Smith. Doesn't stay in for Nick Dahl. Wanderers going to make their final change. We'll see who's to make way. Zidane Mutlu's coming on, but he's jumped the gun a little.
I think they thought Selden was coming off on this near side, so they waved him on, and then he's backtracked and is barely jogging off.
Both of us were looking around the field going, is someone going off somewhere else that we can't see here, or they're just going to play with 12? Jay Selden, though, has been in good form today. Hasn't got a goal again, but he has been exceptional for Wanderers. Zidane Mutlu, another player with bags of skill. This is only his 10th appearance at first grade level. Second time we've seen him off the bench in Wanderers colours in 2020. De Silva. That's going to fall for Vlaslovsky. He clips it wide, and here's a first run for Mutlu. Plenty of pace to get in behind. Rather rushed his cross to try and find Deng. Jervis Hamilton.
Breaks on here.
Dahl. Plenty of green and black shirts in this attack. Smith, as always, an option, and a thundering tackle from Chris McEwen. Wonderful challenge, acknowledged by Smith as well. Inside the final 5 minutes, and the Panthers pushing for an equaliser. Rosbakken to deliver towards the far post. Jenkins was arriving. That's the corner of the routine that worked against Tuggerong last week when Ahmed Shaibu came in with a near post header.
Rosbakken struggled to get his crosses on target in his second half, hasn't he? He's wasted a few opportunities to put the ball into the box. He's overhit them. I'm disappointed with that.
Curse of the woodwork has struck the Panthers again today. But the Wanderers, well, at the moment, their 3-match unbeaten run looks like becoming 4. Unless something remarkable happens in the last 5 minutes, they're going to come out with this with at least a point, if not the 3 that they have in their pocket at the moment. Paraskos clips it towards the area. Overhit it. Willem Lejeune happy to take it. Bowl it out towards Mutlu. Driscoll, punchy ball forward to Ahmed Shaibu. Jervis Hamilton. Is this a chance for Nick Dahl to deliver something? Takes on Vlaslovsky. A little bit change of pace. Clips it in towards Ahmed Shaibu, who was lurking. It's come for Smith, who volleys it goalwards. And McEwen got rid of it. In amongst all that, I think it was DiFranceschi with a very important touch. Otherwise, Ahmed Shaibu was heading home from a yard.
It's a vital header, wasn't it? It looked like it was just going to drop onto the head of Ahmed Shaibu. But a great clearance.
Wonderful approach work as well from Nick Dahl. Danger not over for the Wanderers. Corner for Adam Neer to swing in. Flat delivery. Deflection takes it out to as far as Smith, who sent it goalwards but with no real venom. The touch from Driscoll. Daramy got there ahead of Deng. The Panthers can keep the pressure on. In towards Smith. Contorts himself to volley it down to Jervis Hamilton. Daramy wide. Paraskos. Ahmed Shaibu looking to turn and spin and firing into the side netting. Brilliant bit of skill from the American striker, and just the wrong side of the post as far as the Panthers are concerned.
He just rolled Lockie Field so well onto his left foot, just backing into the defender and turns nicely, but just couldn't get his shot on target.
2 minutes for the Panthers to find something, otherwise they will need probably a result next week against Canberra Olympic. Unless, of course, Woden-Weston do them a favour and beat Tuggeranong. All to play for. One thing is for certain, Woden-Weston will have this in their own hands and win next week against Olympic, and they're in the final. And the draw will probably do it for them, depending on what happens later. Smith, still not over here though, goes for goal and didn't strike that as well as he would have liked. And William Lejeune will no doubt eke out a few seconds.
Just the final product that Monaro are missing is one of the struggles they've had all season. Just that final pass, that final shot, not doing themselves any favours.
Jenkins got in there with the touch. Into the final minutes. De Silva. Couldn't keep it in play. Well, apparently, it doesn't matter. Sam Rosebakken, you can see how he felt about that decision. Unimpressed, I think the word might be. Launched towards Deng. Came off his back to Paisler, who goes for goal, and one for the cameras from Alexandra Ridley. I think it may have been going wide.
He's done well to hold on to that ball and not let it go for a corner after his save.
We're into stoppage time. Miss Jervis Hamilton sends out forward. Boak slices it clear. It's out of play, but it is a Panthers attack, and this may be one of the last opportunities they get. Rosebakken stretches his legs infield. Miss Jervis Hamilton back to Rosebakken. It's found its way to the fullback. He's still got it on the edge of the penalty area, but Vlaslovsky was just too strong, and he can clip it away to Mutlu, who tried to get there ahead of Driscoll, who's done well again. Alexandra Ridley sends it forward. Ahmed Shaibu. Daramy. Driscoll joining in at the other end. And McEwen slices it this time. Out of play again, but once more a chance for the Panthers to send this throw in towards the penalty area. Jervis Hamilton goes down. That'll be a free kick. Fouled by De Silva. Real urgency for the Panthers. This could be the final chance. Evan Alexander Ridley, I think, was asking whether he should go up. He's not going to. Trust it to the outfield players. Smith with the free kick. Can they find a dramatic conclusion? He's gone short to Rosebakken, who's lining one up. Clips it towards the far post, but too close to William Lejeune, who's just going to smash this up the field. And Mutlu is after this. Zidane Mutlu. He got there ahead of Daramy, but couldn't get it under control.
Just wonder what the thought process was, not clipping that ball into the box from a free kick and going short and trying something different. Just didn't seem to make sense.
Tried to change the angle, didn't work, did it? Here's Palaskos, still we play. Beaten to it by the long legs of Boak. De Silva stretches away from one and wins his team a free kick, and that might be enough for Yuli De Silva's Woden-Weston Wanderers. Nikola Balasic finds Paisler. Tries to slide it through to Deng. Alexandra Ridley in hurry-up mode. Will look to launch this as far as he can down the park, as quick as he can. Won by Vlaslovsky, only as far as Dahl. Again, firm challenge from McEwen at the expense of a throw. Dahl finds Smith. Dahl again delivers into the air, but Lejeune watches it all the way into his chest. And Alex McConaughey blows the full-time whistle. And Yuli De Silva's Woden-Weston Wanderers, well, their turnaround carries on. 4 unbeaten, a 2-1 victory.
They just kept the fantastic run in the second half of the season going with another great result here, a 2-1 win over the Panthers.
And it sets it up nicely for what's coming up. Woden-Weston go to 4 points, Monaro Panthers on 3, Canberra Olympic on 1, Tuggeranong on 0. So both these teams now in the next game have got something to play for.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of the round robin format. Every match is vital for these teams, and it'll come down to the 3:45 kickoff game next Sunday as well.
Yeah, and even if Tuggeranong lose here, they've still got a chance of making the final should they have a really big win next week. So anything to play for. Thanks, Lachlan, for your company again. I'll be back in a bit with Frank Keisha for the 3:45 kickoff. Canberra Olympic versus Tuggeranong United. But here it's Woden-Weston's day. Blaise Vlaslovsky with the double. The first after 5 minutes. The second after 58, although Nikola Barisic may claim it. The fireworks going off in the background. I'm not sure it's that impressive. Adam Neo's pulled one back for the Panthers. And in the end, Woden-Weston take home the spoils. It's finished Woden-Weston Wanderers 2, Monaro Panthers 1.